All right, here we are again. Cowbell podcast, extraordinary every day. And how are you, Dave?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. Good to be back for another session here at the Cowbell. Yeah, and there's a bit coming up this month. We've got a bit going on, but we'll touch on that a little bit later on with some events that are happening later in June. But meanwhile, who have we got today, Kelvin?
Yeah, so we are very lucky to have Adrian Copeland um, joining this call. So Adrian is one of the endurance athlete that I met last year. Um, and he has a really interesting background and journey that compared to some of our guests on this pod. So he's definitely a everyday runner, but he also ventured into some of the races that no one ever thought that human being can actually come finish. And last year, yeah, I think yeah he done some extraordinary things and complete some of the grueling endurance race. And yeah, so today just really love to hear his story, and we want to unpack his mindset, like how he got through those like that moment, I guess, like deep in the pain cave, and also yeah, we'd love to hear his experience and his family, like uh how they can actually support him during the race. And yeah, so Agent, welcome to Cowbell Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Agent, yes, let's say before I think introduction, there, I think would love to hear about little about your background. Like, so how did you get into endurance sport? Like, and sort of like took us like last couple of years, like your journey. Like, would love to hear.
Um, as far as the endurance side of it, I guess I went from say probably 4 years back to the journey of starting running and choosing that difference between I was a binge drinker on weekends. I wouldn't drink through the week much at all, but on the weekends I made up for everyone. I had a gold medal at doing that. Not that I'm proud of that by any means. And I just got sick of that life that I had and that foggy feeling. And I don't know. I remember looking in the mirror, just thinking, "Oh yeah, that's just me. That's just who I am."
Mhm.
But it's not who you are until like one Christmas in the morning. I got up and I wasn't feeling the best, and I've never suffered with depression or anxiety.
Mm.
I have a bit of a numb brain as such. I don't let a lot into me to have any of that sort of going on with me. But I woke up in the morning feeling pretty dark and chucked on a pair of runners and went for a run. And I still don't know how far I went, but the journey just kicked off from there. It just become a passion.
Mm.
And I think it unfolded a lot of stuff in my life, and the deeper I went, like I think I ran for I don't know, I think I was running for about 2 weeks, and then I'm like, oh, I reckon I could run to Torquay and back, and that's like a 50K run. So that's only after running for 2 weeks, and I've never ran. Like I'm not a runner, and I took off. And I was surprised myself. I got the 30Ks anyway. Like I was about the 28K mark, and I had to do the SOS call. I had nothing with me. I had no vest, no water, nothing at all. I just took off. That's how much little I knew about running.
Mm.
Um, Thankfully, there was one thing I did find out about running is near shitting yourself. Um, I remember running past a Macca's bag, and I wasn't too far after that, and it hit the jackpot, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then I'm like, oh, in that Macca's bag, and yeah. And anyway, that was my turning point. I'm like, all right, we're going to head back now.
You remember that every time you run past it now, don't you?
Oh, and it's funny, like a lot of people say, you're not an ultra runner until you shit yourself. So I'm still not an ultra runner.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm thinking, you know what? I reckon in my next ultra run, I might just shit myself. Just
Mate, I think we could dedicate a whole episode to that, but let's not go down that road.
that might
Anyway,
be a different rated session.
that's right.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah, that's sort of kicked on my journey. as a life change. And then I was doing hit sessions at Jets, those gyms, Jets. We got a local Jets gym here. And I was every morning, and I was super strict. Like, I never missed a session, Monday to Friday. And it ended up, I got so addicted to it, I was doing double sessions or triple sessions. And it just become, I don't know, my life.
Yep.
And then obviously the stronger you get, the more confidence you get and trusting in doing anything. And anything that I take on in my life, and I've had this attribute as a kid, and I'm very fortunate and grateful that I have got it, is anything I take on is 110%. Like, I won't look at something and go, oh, yeah, I'll just give that a go. There's no just. I don't understand just. I'm doing it. Like, I'm not just giving it a go. Hence, with diving into these ultras, like, I know that I'm finishing these things. And there's a strict rule with my crew that if I, like, it doesn't matter how bad I look, if I pass out, any of that, I'm still racing. The only way you pull me out of a race is if I'm not breathing, because I will wake up and I'll keep moving. There's no quit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the journey of it was the very first ultra was the GSER from Harriettville up into Hotham, the Great Southern Endurance Race, which is still my favourite event on the calendar. The event's incredible.
Yep.
And it was a 56K, and a buddy of mine, Adrian Copeland, he's raced it previously, and he talked me into doing it. And we were sitting around a cafe the day before, and they're like, oh, yeah, so how many ultras you done? I'm like, that's my first. And they're like, why did you pick this? Like, this is pretty brutal. And I'm quietly getting excited. Like, they're probably trying to scare me, and they're going, so how do you see the terrain? Like, what do you think of all the vert? And I'm like, I don't even know. I've got no idea. And they're like, haven't you checked the vert out? I'm like, well, I don't know. I know we're going up hills, and I know we're going down hills. So I'll deal with that when I'm out there. And yeah, and in the race, that was pretty tough. Like, in the first 8Ks, I'm just thinking, what have I done? I can't even walk. My feet were just cooked. And talking to an experienced runner, he goes, what shoes you got? I showed him, and he's like, oh, no good. He goes, like, you need shoes for rocks. He goes, your feet are screwed now. They're all bruised. He goes, you probably won't make it. And I'm like, hey,
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'll be getting through it. And it's through everything out us, weather-wise too, like rain, hail. There was snow up there. It was just brutal conditions. And yeah, we got through it and got me first and only hallucination I've ever had. I've still yet to have one, considering that was a 56K, and now doing like a 490K. I still haven't had one, but I understand why. Like, I totally understand why I haven't. Like, I could make myself have one, no problem at all. And that's by not being in tune with your body.
So when was that Christmas? That you just decided to go, hey, I'm going to run, start running?
4 years ago. So what are we now? 2025. So yeah, 2021. Might have even been 2020. Possibly.
So around that beginning of COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and then, so what was happening for you before that? Like, was it work? Was it other play? What was going on for you before you started getting into that?
Yeah, well, I've got my own civil business. And like, I've always done something sports-wise. Like, I cycled for a lot of years, done a lot of racing in cycling. And I've always had something. Like, I've always kept active in some way or form. And a concrete business too. I had a concrete business for over 20 years. And that's, like, I always treated that as a bit of a workout as well, doing concreting. Yeah. So I've never been a couch potato. That does not sit with me one little bit. But as a kid, We had nothing. We grew up with nothing at all, but I was fortunate enough to do any sports that I wanted to do. And I was never held back. Like played ice hockey, football, I wrestled, jiu-jitsu, boxed. It was endless of sports. That was where I grew up in Footscray. That was in front of us, and I took it all on. Loved it.
So keen to hear two sides of the story that we were just chatting to off air before we came on. But what about the motorsport side of things? Where was that pre-ultra running, or has that sort of been around the same time?
No, I've been in motorsports or motorbikes since a kid. Like even though growing up in Footscray, there's no motorbike tracks around there as such, but a little distance away, it was called Mudflats, sort of across the road from Flemington Racecourse, and it was just a vacant land, and it's where when the Commonwealth Games came to Melbourne, they built all the housing for the Commonwealth Games now, and we used to throw the motorbike in the boot of the old XA Ford, and Dad would drive us down there and we'd scoot around, and motorbikes have been a part of my life. I've always had motorbikes, and then raced motocross for a lot of years, and then got out of that and just rode bikes, drag bikes, road race bikes, and then I saw a thing come up about Finke and heard a lot about Finke, the desert race in Alice, and I'm like, oh man, that's pretty brutal. Like I know how dangerous this is, and it just kept popping up, and I'm somebody that it's like a sign. Like this thing just kept popping up, and oh, bugger it, I'm doing it. And that's this year. Like last week was my fourth
Yeah,
year.
right.
Yeah, and each year I've completed like all four.
Wow.
So you've literally just come off the back of well, yeah, we're going to touch on your ultra earlier in the year, but you've literally just come off the back of Fink. So wow, that's incredible. So the question's then got to be asked: what's the difference between motorized ultras and ultras on your feet then?
They're like as far as mental state, exactly the same. Like
Right.
you've got to have a strong, probably an even more heightened vision on a motorbike because the speeds that you're traveling at and the terrain that you're on, like it's continual whoops the whole way. So you're up out of the saddle, copping that feedback right through your body. You're consistently fighting the bike. The dust, like your vision's like you can't see at times. And if you're slowing down, well, there goes a lot of your time. So you just got to stay on it. And it's sand. There's a lot of sand. So as far as your mindset is very similar, if not sharpened more in the way of on a motorbike compared to ultras. Depending where you are in an ultra, like if you're on the edge of a cliff and it's at 2 a.m., you're pretty focused. Pretty focused. I've been on a couple of those and not realised until I sort of turned to have a pee off the side. And you look down with your lamp and go, "Oh shit!" Like, all right, we better wake up now. So yeah, your mindset is very similar.
And what about physically though? Like
Yeah,
you say, you talk about the same, but I mean, physically, obviously, running one foot in front of the other, the pounding through your body. You've just described that beautifully about that impact and that you're wrestling this beast this powerful beast underneath you. Are you more knackered when you come out of the end of a leg of the Fink than you are of a leg of a ultra?
um, oh, it's a different sort of fatigue. Like, so with Fink, you use a lot of upper body, and in saying that, depends on what ultra you're racing. If you've got a lot of hills, like you're on your poles, so you're using a fair bit of upper body with doing that too. But I guess the pounding, as far as pounding on your body on a bike, you're copping it. You're copping it pretty hard. When you get off the bike, your adrenaline's there. So it's not till either later that night or the next morning when you can't get out of bed. And everything feels like it's compressed. Your muscle strips, I don't know what they're called, down the back. They're just like, they're like bricks. They're just super, super, super hard. Yeah, it just, they're too, you're sort of itemizing against different races, I guess, in a way of what ultra you want to put it up against. Or say put it up against Down Under.
Mm-hmm.
Down Under would eat Think alive as far as physically demanding. Like Down Under's, that's just a beast. And I'm shattered. I never got the race. I was entered for this year, being the last one, but I had to get up to Alice to do a pre-run for Fink, because the last time I'd rode sand or anything like that was Fink last year. So I've done nothing because I've been out on my feet racing, running. So I only got to do one pre-run prior to racing Fink.
Wow. So what about like Adrian? I think it's just fascinating to hear your experience and with all these ultra race doesn't matter it's a foot race or motor race. Honestly, Dave, I think even just for Adrian to talk about each race, it will take up the whole episode, right?
Well, I mean, the distances that he's covered,
Yeah.
in any of those for sure.
And I would love to hear like because you had so many other like adventure. Like the way I see your life is not just about race, is your life adventure. Like you've done something that like I still cannot imagine how you could possibly even attempt to try it, like or finish it. Is the Ultraman. Like you're talking about like swimming for what's that? 10 kilometers, right?
Yeah, which ended up being 12 Ks for us
Oh
because
my God.
yeah, tell me about it. That's what I was thinking
Oh,
about. The water was so rough, it kept pushing the boys out.
oh.
So I didn't know until or after, not even that night, like at the end of all the race, until we sort of looked at all the stats, and I'm like, that was over 12 Ks we done swimming. and and I'm not a swimmer, I'm an anchor. I can't get my legs up.
Oh.
Like I swim like this. It's horrible, man. That swim gave me PTSD like you've got no idea.
Would that be one of the hardest sports like you have ever experienced, like compared to?
100%. Yeah, definitely. Like what happened at the end of it, we were sitting around. I had Sian, Brad, my coach, he was there, and Taya, my stepdaughter. So that was my crew that I had there for the race, and we were sitting around. I don't know, I was teared up, and they're like, "What's up?" And I've said, "Do you know, like this? I've done a lot of things in my life, but I've never ever once felt achievement, like that I've actually achieved something." And doing Ultraman, I felt I achieved something.
Mm.
More being the swim, because I am a dud of a swimmer.
Yep.
I'm not a swimmer at all. And it was quite funny that because leading up to the race, we had Taya's 21st and we're in Maroochydore, and my training was not much on the bike, not a great deal on my feet. It was just swimming. I'm like, come on, man, you've got to be able to swim.
Mm.
And I was at a pool, and one of the lifeguards, she's come over and just throwing like this buoy that you put between your legs because she saw how bad I was swimming. Like she had no idea what I had coming up this race. Anyway, I've took it, and when I've finished, and I've told her what I've got coming up, and she just looks at me and she goes, "Good luck." Good luck.
It's just like having a Besser block wrapped around your ankles, right?
Oh, mate. It's and that's what created such a big achievement for me. I can't, I don't know, I can't express enough for somebody to try and take something like that on,
Mm.
just for their own self. I don't know, an achievement. And because it was so big, Sian and I went back this year, like a couple of months ago, and we actually helped run it. Like we volunteered and got to see all the behind scenes of what happens with it. And wow, I tell you now, it was easier to race it.
Yeah, right.
Like those guys are freaks. They call it the dream team. And it is the dream team for what they create is just, it's incredible. And I'll be doing it again. They're going to start one in New Zealand next year for the first time. So naturally, I'll be booking that one in.
So just for those at home, Ultraman, and correct me if I'm wrong here, 10K swim, 421.1 kilometer ride, and then a 84.3K run.
Yep.
So yeah, that's more than an Ironman.
Well, on their hats, what does it say?
Ironman's just a qualifier.
Yeah, Ironman's just a qualifier.
Thanks, Sian. That's thanks
Yeah.
for that's
And Thomas Dade, obviously everyone knows Tom.
Yeah.
He's done it as well, but he went and done it straight after Down Under. So he won Down Under, didn't just do Down Under, he won Down Under. Then he went over to Noosa and went and done Ultraman. He's similar to me. Like he can swim all right. Actually, he's a right swimmer, but not a cyclist. And the bike that he had looked like it come out of a vintage shop. So the thing would have been so heavy for him to ride. And then he's gone and done since, which...
Oh, he's got an old Kmart special or something, has he?
I think it was a Giant, but a vintage Giant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she was no carbon. No integrated bars, no integrated cables. The cables are out, but he's a beast. Like I hold him up. High regard, that guy.
Yeah, we've had Thomas on the Cowbell before, and he is a beast. Actually, I caught up with him just last week, and he wasn't in beast mode, but he still did very well.
Yeah.
So Kelvin and I were just chatting about this off air before you came on, and we joked about it and said, "Oh, Adrian's he's done the 50K, he's done the 50, he's done a 50 miler, and then he's done 100K, but then he skipped the miler." Well, obviously you went and did Down Under, which is the 135.
Didn't finish that though.
Yeah, but still, it was a step. But then last year, competing there at Bigfoot 200 over at Mount St. Helens in the States, which is part of one of the endurance races. So that's a 200 miler. And then this year, the Arizona Monster, the 300. I've got some of the stats up here in front. So yeah, we're talking a 200 mile race in 24 and then a 300 mile race. Just to put it into perspective here, in 24, you completed that pretty much, you came in under the 89-hour mark just. And then in the Monster this year, we're around 153 hours. That's a mighty big step, mate. That is a mighty big step. We were just even looking at the difference between the people that finished. I'm not going to say the winners because this is an endurance event, but the people that finished ahead of you, like 3 days ahead of you in that Monster. What kind of breed of people are you?
It's actually quite funny. Like I'm a big fan of Cam Haynes. And we were in Bali just a few weeks ago helping run Bali Hope. And I was listening to one of his podcasts, and he said something in it that it just made so much sense to me, of the question of like whether you say what sort of beast or who or why. Now the question everyone gets asked all the time in ultras is why. And you've never had an answer, mate. He nailed it. So in the world of so much fakeness, like people can fake to be rich. They can be fake to be smart. They can be fake. Like there's 98% of fakeness in our world today. When you're doing these ultras on those trails, It's just you and that trail, and you can't fake a finish. You can't fake, even if you're DNF'd, you can't fake any of that, any part of it. So as soon as you go through that start line, there's no fake out there. It's just you and the trails. So who's going to win? Who are you going to let win out there? You're going to let the trail beat you? You're going to beat that trail. And I just loved it. When he said that, I'm like, far out, finally. Now I can actually answer people with reason and sense. And hopefully it sort of gives some clarity to the people that you talk to that are like, you probably get stuck in that little bit of a fakeness world as well, like all that social media and making things look a lot better than they actually are in life. We're out there, you're just so real. And it's not just you, like you're out there with some of the most insane humans on this planet. Now at Bigfoot, we hung around, Sean and I hung around to the very end, to the last runner come through. And then the next day, we were sitting around where everyone was just having a bit of a chat around the fires and music's playing. And I just got super overwhelmed. And I looked at Sean, I'm like, was I 50 then or 51? 51 I was in. And I go, it's took me till now, 51 years old, to find my people. I've finally found my tribe. Because these people couldn't care less who you are, what you have, what your worth is, what your car is, what your house is, who you know. They just want to know about you and your journey and where you're going next. What are you up to next, sort of thing. And the friendship that I've got now in my ultra family, it's like I've got friends around the world now that are more loyal than anyone I know. Like after Arizona Monster, a buddy that I ran with for a day, we just happened to meet each other by mistake. He was going the wrong way, coming down the road at Bigfoot, and this was like at 2 a.m. or whatever. And I'm looking, going, why is their head? Nobody should be coming that way. And we've come across each other. I'm like, "You right, buddy? What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I just went the wrong way, and I've gone up there about 6 or 7 Ks, and then we just sort of had a chat, and we ended up staying together for the whole day. And now we're like that."
Wow.
And after Arizona Monster, we went and stayed at his house in LA. He's a beast, this guy. He's a fitness trainer, and he's got a big gym at the back of his house, and there was no rest. He's like up in the morning, and we're out there training with him and doing sessions. And but yeah, touching back on the people that you meet on the trails and the why, that's the big why.
So Candice Burt, was she still heading up the monster and Bigfoot there?
Yeah, she was there. Yep, she was wandering around up there.
Yeah, I followed her for a long time, and I mean, in again, obviously, here in Australia, we do have some big long endurance races, but they're probably not as big as some of they are over there in the States. And I've been following Candice for a long time, and she's really put some of these events on the map. And yeah, she is one of those unique ones.
Yeah, well, if you saw her in real life, she's like that. She's a little stick.
I know she's got eyes out here though. Like she's constantly on, isn't she?
Yeah, and what she does in the races, this is almost cruel what she does in the races. So you'll come into an aid station and it's like in arm's reach. And then all of a sudden, you're getting turned to 180 and taken away from it.
Oh, no.
This is every aid station at every race.
Oh.
And it's cruel, man. Like, yeah, because you're just so depleted and you're like, okay, like especially further on in the race, like at the monster, say after, I don't know, 150 mile, like out there for 3 days and it's 3 or 4 a.m. and you're just cooked. And there you can see the lights, you can hear a bit of music, and you're like, oh, thank God. So you're trucking along, and then you just all of a sudden you're like, where is it? And you look behind you and you go, oh, she's done it again. going away. You're going away from the aid station, and it's not for like another hour till you get to the aid station. Like,
So just so for those at home listening, just take us. So as I said, it was yeah, just over 153 hours. So what, 6 days and a bit?
yeah.
Take us through to say the morning of day 5, something like that. Take us into where you're at, where Adrian's at on that part of that journey.
What's happened?
And actually, and before you answer, and then want to hear from Sian, and
Sad.
I want to
Yeah.
hear her tell us what her experience of you was at the start of day 5,
So day 5. Oh, I
or
know.
thereabouts. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be
So
exact.
what's actually happened? Just before I touch on that, is I've got like 2 odd days of memory loss.
Right.
And talking to a lot of runners in that race, a lot of them have got the same.
Mm.
Reason being is all you're looking at for the whole 6 days
Mm.
are cactuses and rocks and occasional rattlesnake.
Oh.
That's it. That's all you've got. So as humans, we need things to trigger our minds to remember. All I saw was cactuses and rocks and hills. There was nothing pretty out there.
Wow.
Nothing. Other than on that fifth day, we were walking along, and I'm glad somebody finally put a photo up of it. Walking along, and I could see this long silver tube sort of on the side of this cliff. Like, oh, maybe I'm seeing things, because it was cooking hot. Like, it was 40, what was it? 40 degrees, I think, around that day.
Wow.
And their 40 degrees is like our 50 plus.
Wow.
Like, their heat is just rude. Like, it took about 6 weeks to get my feeling back in my tongue. I burnt the tip of my tongue just from the hot air. And I saw this tube, and I'm like, what is that thing? And I'm like, even when I walked past it, I had no energy to sort of stop and have a bit of a look, or to even give it a tap with my pole. And we just kept sort of trucking on. But eventually somebody put a photo up of it, because they thought they were hallucinating as well. But we still don't know what the hell it was, because you're in the middle of the desert. Like, I'm talking, there's no roads. You're way up high. This it can't be space junk, because that would have imploded. Like, it was pretty thin. It's like it's landed, like come in and just nicely
Wow.
landed on the edge of this cliff. Yeah, pretty weird. But that's a part of the day 5, and leading into that day 5, like, we knew the heat was coming in pretty damn hard. So I had a pacer, Brian. He's from Washington, who I met at Bigfoot. He offered to pace me for Monster. And I'm like, okay, I've never had a pacer, so why not? Let's give it a go. He was great. Like, he gave me my space. Like, I'm not a big talker on the trails. I train on my own a lot, because I don't know how long I'm going to go when I train. I could go out there for 5 minutes. I could be gone for a day. I've got no plan when I go to train. So this last day, the 5 days, the 5th day, we've sat down at the aid station, and I'm like, Brian, we've got to maximize tonight. Like, we're going to have to push tonight so we can get into the last aid station by around 9 or 10 a.m. We're going to stay in our van, like our crew van. We'll hang in there in the air condition till about 4 p.m. I was way ahead of time. Like, I went out hard at the start of the race, so I could stay ahead of time caps. I had about 14 hours ahead in lieu. So I had heaps in the bank. What's the saying? All goes well until you're punched in the face.
So when you're sleeping, are you sleeping in the van when you're doing this? Are you resting during the day in that aircon in the van? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we had we had our crew 4 times, was it? We got used. We didn't. Again, Candace has put this monster together. I reckon it was to really break people.
Mm.
We didn't get our crew very much.
Right.
I don't know if it was because of the remoteness, or she just didn't want us to have crew for a bit, just to really battle it out.
Mm.
Yeah, so I manage my rests, hence why I don't hallucinate. Like, I'll manage my time really well. I'm not a front runner. I'm a mid-pack runner. So there's no need to go out there and bust yourself, like in a way of unnecessary bust yourself, hallucinate, and then run a risk of breaking your body down to where you're going to get a DNF. Again, I don't do these races to DNF. And if it does happen due to whatever circumstances out of my control, cool. But if it was my stupid doing by trying to push too hard or anything like that, not managing food, hydration, I'd be pretty pissed. And hence why I scan my body around every 30 minutes while I'm out there. I'll do a body check and see where I'm at. I'll check my time and right, we'll push. So that, again, getting back to that 5th day, we went like hell that night. We were marching, we were going, we were running. We think we're running until you look at the stats. And we even come across, we don't know what form of mountain lion, but we come across something.
Wow.
So we got up onto this top of the crest. We went over a cattle grid and we've turned to go along, and we heard this ruffling, but heavy. Like, it wasn't something small. We could hear it. And Brian looks at me and he goes, "Do you hear that?" Like, yeah, come on. So we're going along and you could hear it. And he's like, "This is stalking us." Now, these mountain cats, that's what they do. They stalk you.
Wow.
And there's a saying out there, if you see one of them, they've been watching you for a long time, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to get attacked by it.
Wow.
But you're that far into a race, for me anyway, my brain's a bit numb. So this thing's going, and Brian was freaking out a bit, and I've just turned around and looked, and then you could see something pop down, and he goes, "Did you see that?" Like, yeah. And then I've just yelled, I'm like, "Just come on," like a few swear words and that. And then he just looked at me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then we've just left, and it was gone. It took off. And we had a job to do.
Yeah.
We just kept going, and we kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then we were pretty fatigued. We were pretty fatigued because we marched on pretty hard that night. And then just as you could sort of see the sun coming up, because we're up high, we were getting some of the most amazing sunrises and sunsets you've ever seen. Now, maybe they might not have been because we were just looking at damn cactuses and rocks every day, day in, day out. But they were, because one thing I did do was take a photo each morning and each night, sunrise, sunset. And I've posted that on Instagram that you can see. And it was so beautiful. So we could sort of see it coming. And I was getting a bit drunk feeling, and Brian was not going so well either. And we said, all right, we'll have a dirt nap. So we just literally just laid on the trail. Like, there was nowhere else to lay because it was a cliff. Like, if you had rolled over, you were dead probably. And then it was a cliff up the other side. So initially we started with our legs up on the cliff to try and get some swelling down out of our feet. And then, yeah, just sort of laying there and watching the sunrise. And I'm like, "Oh man, we better get going." And we sort of chooked on. The sun's coming up, and we stopped too much is what happened through that day. I sort of cracked it in the end. I'm like, we're not stopping no more. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, pain, reasons, there's no more of it. I don't want to hear about it. We're pushing to this aid station because this heat was getting ridiculous. I said, and we're not only pushing, we're going to run now. Like, we're going to run. And we just pushed and pushed and pushed until we got into that last aid station. And when you looked on the maps, it showed switchbacks. And I'm like, "Oh, cool, switchbacks." So generally switchbacks, looked at the elevation and that I could see, and it looked like, oh, it's going down a bit. That'll take us down into the aid station. These switchbacks were for Bigfoot. These these were like kilometre switchbacks.
Oh,
And the worst thing is that when you got up to it, because they went out that way, you could see them all. It's not like they were hiding behind each other. You could see the whole.
yeah, right.
It just drained your life. You just looked at it and just go, oh man. And they just kept growing. Like you think you've gone through them all, and then all of a sudden there's another 10 of them. Just like, far out. And that was probably my hardest part of that whole race. That was like really soul destroying. Just looking at these damn switchbacks that just kept growing and growing and growing. And then friends, these other Aussies, they came along and we just tacked on the back of them and they pretty much trained us in.
Right.
And we just stayed with them and followed them all the way into the aid station pretty much. And that was tough, man. Like that was the toughest part of that whole race for me.
Because I guess that's the thing in an event like that, you're not going out being able to train on that kind of terrain, and for you, be getting over there, so it's all new, and the navigation side of it, like totally there's no. I'm not guessing that there's course marking like there is up at Ultra Trail Australia, where there's a bit of pink tape every 20 meters. You're doing your own navigation.
Well, they do have ribbons. They do mark it. It is marked course. But you're on the Arizona Trail too.
Right.
So a few people did go off the trail. So when you come down into they're like dry, like sand riverbeds, down there, you can get lost easy in there. And there's random cattle and bulls as well, just floating around. Yeah, you can get lost down in there because the trail just disappears. And because of the cattle tracks are everywhere, like a lot of people did wander off around those. But navigation wise, I'm pretty on point with navigation, regardless if it's marked or not. Like I go out, I do a lot of training up in Bright, up in the high country there, and I'll often just go off route and just wander around where our van is. You can just, there's so much. It's like a playground up there.
Yeah.
So the navigation part of that's fine. That's fine. And like even when we came off the trail at one section of it and we came into a town called Tucson.
Mm-hmm.
What mile was that at? Down into Tucson. So you're in town for like 2 days. You're on a bike path. But because this is a new race, where we were on this bike path, it's like an old river, again, a sand riverbed through there. It's full of homeless, junkies, drug addicts. We didn't find out none of this until like later in the race. Like girls were getting harassed. They were hiding. Like these druggies were sort of stalking them out and they're hiding in bushes and hiding wherever they could. So who knows what these guys were going to do.
Geez, mountain lions and drug addicts. So you had it all, didn't you?
And there's footage. There's footage of sorry, how do we get you back on there? There's footage of a cat.
In Rialto.
Rialto, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a cat, like a bobcat,
Wow.
down in that riverbed amongst all the homeless and that down in there. And I'm just like, where the hell did they send us? Like you're half excited because one of the aid stations was at In-N-Out Burger. And oh mate, In-N-Out Burger would have made bank. They would have cashed up on all these ultra runners that were just, oh man, like give us all your
That is awesome. I mean, In-N-Out Burger did a little pop-up down here in Coogee last week and the queue was out the door. I'm just imagining you lot trying to trudge in there with all your in the middle of a 300-mile race.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll Moki, my daughter, because Moki was there as well. And she went in and got all my stuff, the food and all that. Sorry, just playing around the screen here. Something's
What's happened?
Yeah, trying to
We
maximize this again.
we can still hear you there.
Yeah.
Have you ever had
see.
In-N-Out, Kelvin? Kelvin, have you ever had In-N-Out burger?
No, I've never.
Oh, well, it's an experience. It's an
Oh, it's good.
experience. It's good. It's good when you're 200 miles into a race.
It was damn good. Like I think she got me two. Oh man, these are big tower burgers. It's their biggest burgers I have.
Yeah.
She got me 2 meals. Yeah, that hit the spot, I'll tell you. But it was funny actually when we were running along that section from there to the next Rialto aid station. Like I ran the whole 27 Ks along there, and I've come into the aid station, and Sian's like, "Where's Brian, your pacer?" And I'm like, "I thought he was behind me." He ended up breaking a bit and was spewing his guts up and all that. And then he's wandered in a little bit after me, and he had to have a day off. Like he took a day off to rest and get himself together, because I didn't know these paces, if they DNF while you're out there, that's a DNF for you as well.
Right.
And I'm like, far out. Like it almost becomes a liability.
Gee, she does make it cruel for you, doesn't she?
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Hey, Adrian, I want to hear about how Sian and your daughter play a role in your race. Like, obviously, I mean, it's their own ultra, right? Like, I think I would imagine it'll be so tough for them to crew you for the like 5-6 days. Like, Sian, are you able to just tell us?
Sian there,
Sian, tell us a little, Sian, tell us what is the most I guess memorable things like supporting Adrian,
Like in the Arizona race or in general?
Arizona, maybe Arizona, yeah.
Yeah. It was challenging actually. It's not the driving part of it. That's actually pretty cool, but I guess because it was an extra 2 days from Bigfoot, I didn't realize how tired I would get from that extra 2 days, having to be alert the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah. The driving of it actually pretty cool, because you see some awesome things, but like, and to watch, I guess the hardest thing is to watch Adrian fall apart and keep myself together for him. Like that's really, really hard, because he puts everything into it, and he comes into these aid stations dead, like completely dead. Like you look at him and you go, "Oh, this is it. You're not going anywhere anymore." And a Sprite and a Sunkiss later, and he's good as gold. So like that, watching that, there's a few times I had to actually walk away from it because it hurts. Like it hurts to see that physical pain. So I just nick off and pretend I'm getting something in the van and pull myself together again, and then pop back over and just check in a little bit whilst he's still eating and chatting, and that with all the other dead runners that are there as well. But yeah, that's probably the hardest part of it, is watching that and then patching him back together, fixing his feet, filling his pack, and then it's like, right, you've got to go, get out of here. Yeah. And the extra 2 days as well, like 5 days, like 3 days is really manageable, like with minimal sleep. But then you throw on an extra 2 days, and that's pretty draining. Yeah.
Yeah. But and you had a lot of experience from the first 200-mile race, Bigfoot 200, right? Like, so I think when you enter this way, when you come to this race, like, did you expect, I've done this before, I can handle Adrian, but would that be like something that beyond your I guess I mean,
I know what to do, and like we had Moki as well, so to include her in it, I found that challenging in myself, because I know what I had to do, and to kind of take a step back and let her have a shot at it as well. In my head, I'm like going, "Oh no, you're not doing it right," but I'm like, no, just let her do it. So that like she came to do it, like she wanted to get in there and all of that. So for me to let her do the feat and let her do like filling the water bottles up and putting the things in and doing all of that. And for me not to, I did a couple of times jump in, and then I've just pulled myself back and I'm like, all right, you do it. It's fine. That was a hard thing for me because I'm used to doing it by myself. And I know I've got things that I check off in my head whilst I'm doing it. So to have somebody else there to kind of help me, which I've not had before, that was a learning curve as well. So, and like when we were sleeping, or when Adrian was sleeping and I'd be in there timing the sleep, she was often out there helping out with other crew, like other runners, because there's a lot of runners that don't have crew. So instead of just sitting around, she was, one in particular, Mount Lemon, up the top of like the highest peak that you went up on, absolutely freezing cold. And I thought she was up in the tent top sleeping, but she was out there all night. Well, not all night, for a good 3 or 4 hours helping out, because there was no relief for the people at that aid station, and they were knackered. Like, they needed sleep themselves.
It's freezing cold too.
Yeah, it was on top of a mountain, and there was still snow around that mountain as well.
So Moki's 15.
Yeah, right. And it becomes a real, as you already touched on, it becomes a real community thing, which is then becomes family, right? You're all invested in this.
Yeah.
Mentally, but also in that community. You're out there suffering all together, both the support crew and the runners. Mental battle is for you to see the pain that, Adrian's going through and others are going through, but to then encourage them to keep going, as you've said.
Yeah.
And what that does to bond people together is something that not many people get to experience.
No, you throw in, I think there was 300 people that started that race. Maybe 230 finished it. And you get to know their names, you get to know their families' names, you get to know their support crew, the drivers, oh, you're the driver. Because you get to know the cars they're in, because you follow them around for 5 days. You get to know the crew really well. And the stories that we have, like as crews sitting in a car park for 8 hours a day waiting for our runners to come in. I mean, that's stuff that you lock in for life as well.
So for her, what a great experience! What a great life experience to be around the pursuits of a dad and all these other crazies, but then to back mum up, and it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Adrian, how do you then come back from an event like that and then unwind, but then get yourself back up? And then you mentioned Bali. I mean, so you've come out of the 300. Then only a few weeks later you've gone to Bali, and then only a few weeks later you're on a dirt bike racing in the Finke. How do you? Yeah,
I'm better at staying on the go than pulling off a bit. So what's happened? The monster. I don't know why I do it, but I always try new things, probably when you shouldn't. So leading into the monster, I was yet to run a race uninjured. Every single race I've ran, I've had an injury, and then I just deal with it out there. I'll just whatever the injury is, I'll body shift, and then it just destroys my body. So at the end of those races, my body's just depleted, broken. But leading into the monster, I'm like, well, I'm going to try something different here. I'm going to reduce my running leading up and maximize my strength sessions in the gym. I've got a gym set up here at home, so it's fortunate enough I can just go out whenever I like. So leading up into the monster, my body was perfect. I had no little niggles. I had nothing at all. And that gave me a super flawless race. And that's just what you need to do in these big events. Like you've got to not just do them. You've got to work just things like that out. You can't just go do it, leave it, go do it, leave it. It's like flogging a dead horse. If you're getting injuries. So that's obviously my thing. I've got to up my strength more. My body's just doesn't tolerate consistent running in a way of people think that I've got to go run every single day. They're like, do you run like 40 Ks every day for these races? I'm like, no. No, like these races are a mental race.
Oh, totally.
Mental. Sure, you need to be fit. You do need to be fit. If you want to be in the first, like the top 20, 30, you do need to be running fit as well. But if you're happy being a mid-pack runner, you need to be strong. You need to be 100% mentally focused, and your body needs to be strong, and you will get through it. 100% you'll get through it. And I've proven that to people that have sort of followed my journey, and I'll help them out along the way to whatever goals they want to achieve, as long as they're not jumping on the bandwagon of feeling good, like temporary, feeling I'm motivated, or I just like motivation's temporary for me in my mind. Like you've got to be a doer. You've got to go out and show that you're going to do it. So in particular, this one girl I used to coach in basketball, she wanted to run a half marathon. And talking about mindset, so I trained her for a little while, not long, and I got her to come over with her boyfriend. I go, give me your watches. Like, how do you track your runs? They go, watches. I go, give me your watches. I put them in my vest. I wore the vest with water. I go, come on, we're going for a run. Long story short, we ran. I took them on a half marathon, and we got back to the corner of my street here, and she was ready to pack it in. I'm like, well, guess what? And I showed her my watch. I go, you've just done a half marathon. Blew her mind away. But that was because she didn't know, like, where if you can control your mind in life, your capabilities are endless. And that is literally endless. Like if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you got the right mindset and drive, you'll be an entrepreneur. If you want to be an athlete to whatever stage you want to be or where you want to be at, if your mindset's right, you're going to be that person. You will be that person. You've got to have that strong, chiseled mindset, and you can't detour though. Like it's there. So whatever that goal was that you want to do. So coming up to Arizona, Monster, my mind leading into these big races, you're going to ask Sian this, 4 weeks prior, you get no sense from me. None at all.
Whoa.
So my mind is out on those trails running. So I'll go through scenarios of if this happens, if that happens, I know what to do. I know what to do here. I know what to do there. And I'll rehearse these races over and over and over and over. So when I come into these races, I don't get nervous. Like I'm not on the line nervous and all the rest of it. And that's the same as racing Finke. Finke's exactly the same. I'm just ready to go. Like I'm ready to attack this thing, enjoy the journey, and get through the finish line. And it works for me.
So what's next then? Sian's looking with a smirk on her face here.
Well,
I was just going to ask why, Adrian.
Oh, I've stopped asking why.
Yeah.
I do have a little thing in the pipeline that I'm big on. If I'm not good at something, I like to teach myself a lesson to become good. So swimming was one of them. Like I'm a crap swimmer, and I had to be real strict on myself to be able to swim. And how it happened was I had just a mini triathlon, local one, and the swim was only 400 meters. Mate, I couldn't do 100 meters without feeling like I was going to drown. Mind you, our river here, the current, like you could lay on your back and within like a minute, you're done your 400 meters. That's how bad of a swimmer I was. And I'm down there, and it just took everything out of me, and I was getting really pissed off at myself. And if anybody was on the beach watching when I kept walking back, they would be just like, this guy's on crack. And I'm yelling at myself. I'm like, yeah, there was a lot of swear words going on. So I'll go to myself, right, you're not cheating this time. You're not going, because I was going into the shallows. So when I got tired, I'll just stand up. I'm like, I'm all right. So I'm like, you're going out in the deep. If you drown, it's your own fault. So just suck it up. So what I've done though, because there's boats continually going, is on my stroke, I leant back and I opened my whole arms right out. And all of a sudden, when I look back, I got this whole, it was like a whole new body got put in me with all this oxygen. And I've instantly gone, you idiot. Like, you were short stroking, panicking, not breathing, instead of opening up and opening your lungs up and allowing air in. I ended up doing 900 meters that day. And I said to Sean, I rang as soon as I got out. Like, I reckon all of Bowen Heads and Ocean Grove could have heard me. I was like, yeah, I was stoked. And then the next day, I got Noah and my son to follow in the car, and I swam 3Ks the next day because I'd opened something up, but I'm still a crap swimmer. So I've toyed around with this. Like, it's still very, it's going to happen, but there's a lot of work to come along with it. I'm going to swim around the bay.
I was about to joke about that. What, you're about to go and swim around the bay, and you've just said it.
Yeah. So now you've joked about it, you can come and help.
Oh, there you go. So hang on. This is an individual pursuit. This is not an event. This is not a thing. I mean, I know they cycle around the bay and they have that little luxury where they get on the ferry and go across.
I've done that around the bay. Yeah, cycle around the bay.
Yeah, mate. So hang on. This is an individual pursuit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Game on. Let's do this.
That's a definite. Like, there's a world record there, but it's not about the world record. It's about teaching me, teach you a lesson for being such a crap swimmer to now, right, you've got to really focus on this, and you're going to learn not only to swim, but you're going to be a good swimmer. Like, you will be a good swimmer. And I know I will. I know I'll get it, and I'll get around that bay. I've just got to work all the logistics of it.
So you're no longer towing a Bessa brick behind you, but you're going to get out there. Actually, I'm just trying to her name escapes me, and this is terrible because I'm about to tell this story. But my kids were just watching it the other day. It's of the swimmer that swims across from Cuba to
the documentary.
Yeah. And my kid, they made a movie out of it, and anyway, it'll come to me. But the determination, and she goes back years after years after year of doing it, and and one year making it so close, like swimming from Cuba, and I'm having flashbacks to that right now. This is going to be the next. There's going to be a movie about this.
Because I won't let it beat me. That's for sure. I don't let anything beat me.
Because look, I imagine there's a whole bunch of logistics there in terms of time of year and currents and
everything. Yeah. There's a lot, a hell of a lot. Yeah. So it's early days. So there's no time as to when it's going to happen, but 100%. So that's one of the big things. Cocodona, I've entered Cocodona for next year.
Oh, wow.
But we're not in. We're in a lottery.
Lottery, yeah.
So, if that doesn't come abroad, we'll do Moab.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. So Moab's to
250.
Yeah,
250, I think. Yeah.
But Cocodona's a big wish.
Yeah, right. Moab, that's nothing, mate. 250.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm doing my first 100-miler this year.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. So you're going backwards.
Yeah.
You're coming out of GPT. Is that what you're saying? Are you coming to GPT?
Well, I do want to do that, yeah. But I'm doing the GCR 100 mile. So I've done their 56K, 50 mile. Now I'll do their 100 mile. And anyone watching this, do yourself a favor and get on board and go out and race the GCR. The GCR is incredible. Incredible. It's just scenic. The Matt and Belinda, they're just incredible that run it. I can't vouch for it enough. Cannot vouch for it enough. There's a 28K as well.
Yeah.
Sean's done the 28K.
There's some good events out there.
Yeah. And that was a funny thing too, you know, when we were in Bigfoot, I didn't think of this. Like we're chatting with like all the crew and they're like, oh, so you've done many 200 milers? I'm like, nah. And they're like, well, what's the biggest you've done? I'm like, oh, a 50 mile. They're like, oh, cool. All right. So what other race you got coming up? I said, oh, the Arizona Monster. And they've stopped. Like I was in about a bunch of 5 of us and they're like, stop. We're like, what? They go, so you entered the 200 mile and you entered a 300 miler, but you've entered a 300 mile without doing the 200 mile. So you don't even know what a 200 or 100 mile is like. And I'm like, shit. Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that.
Well, that's right. You're just doing it backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Wow. Hey, Adrian, yeah, before we ask you very important questions, tell us last year, I think was it last year you did a trip to Mount Everest?
Yeah, we done
And I
base
think,
camp.
yeah, so I think that one was one of the, I guess, adventure that really test your limit, was it?
Yeah. That did test my limit to a point where I actually thought I was going to die, literally. All due to my own fault. So that's one of those instances I'm to blame for this. There was no one else to blame bar myself. I didn't respect the mountain, which really it's annoyed me a lot because I've had so much desire for Mount Everest. When I first got a glimpse of Mount Everest, it just broke me down. I got bawled crying. It was just like somebody took a photo of it at the time when I was just standing there looking at these gods of mountains that are just looking over you. I don't know. I just got so overwhelmed. But I basically went up too quick. Like we acclimatized, the mob that we went with, done all the right stuff. But each day I was gone like a rocket because I love mountains and I love just getting up mountains, but didn't respect the Himalayas with the altitude, did not give it the respect it needed. And you see there's so many different people that are out there doing it, like overweight or unfit or whatever, old, but they make it. And why they make it is, say like for the overweight ones, they'll do like an hour and they'll stop, have a rest, have a drink, have a little bite to eat, go for an hour. They're slowly acclimatizing and they get to the tea houses. They've got the tunes on, they're dancing. I'm like this, dead. Like I'm just sitting in a hole, just going, will you guys just shut up in my own mind? Because I'm like, my brain felt like it was going to explode. To the last day, like we went out, done the Everest base camp, and I shouldn't have even done that. Like my mentality for doing it was, maybe if I go out and do that, it might make me feel better. Why think like that? Like you're going up in even more altitude. Like I needed to be going down, going the other way.
Yeah, right.
So that night, I'm laying in bed. Like I hadn't slept for 3 days, drank for 3 days, or eaten for 3 days. And I'm laying in bed just going, I don't think I'm going to come out of here. I think that I'm going to come out in a bag out of this place. Like, and I've never thought like that in my life. Like, and it was legit because my breathing was so shallow. It was just, and then it stopped for ages because I just couldn't get another breath. And I ended up having to get a helicopter back to Lukla, another helicopter back in the Kathmandu, which had an ambulance there and took me straight to hospital. And yeah, long story short, that was all cool. But I now suffer, which I'm going for a checkup this Thursday, like breathing difficulties now because of it. I ended up getting like a pretty severe pneumonia. And I didn't know what it was because I didn't get it checked. And I was up in Bright and I went on a training run, which I shouldn't have because I knew there was something wrong. Ended up putting me in the hospital. That training run. My body was trying to shut down. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was just everything that could go wrong sort of pretty much went wrong. So I'm hoping now I haven't scarred my lungs. But in saying that, since then I've done Monster.
Yes.
Something's all right.
And you're about to swim a long way.
Swim a long way, yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, like actually, and don't they say that swimming's the ultimate sport? So maybe that'll fix you. But it's sounds very similar to Thomas Dade, who we've had on, as we mentioned earlier, how we've had him on the pod there before, and his experience up there in the big mountains. Again, all to do with acclimatization in that time, and people underestimate it and really
Takes no
underestimate it.
hostages.
Yeah.
Altitude is something to not muck around with.
Mm.
Like I've got unfinished business there. Like I don't say things and not do it. So I've said before, like Everest is on the cards to climb Everest. But it's at the same
I can see Sian rolling her eyes again.
No, I knew he has to finish it.
Yeah, no, you have to.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
As soon as he said, I'm not going back up.
Yeah.
Well, you're going back again.
No, you're going back again. I love that. That's awesome.
I've just got to be right though. Like it's again, like I saw the severity of it now. And it's something to not toy with. So if I get told there's any slightest little bit of issues with my lungs, well, that's off the cards. Like I'm not going to make with that.
No.
What have I got to gain? Like there's nothing to gain from it. I'd be pissed. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But I'll take it out in the water.
Wow. Awesome.
Look, actually, quickly too, what happened again with trying new things before races? Remember, Calvin, when we got on board together, it was at Bigfoot, was trying Endu 1.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I tried it before, but I took it to America and tried it in a 200-mile race and did it not. Like, I'm not just saying this because you supply it to me, Calvin, but I don't, like me and Giles, we were enemies. And I know more people that are like that than aren't. I think I had 4 gels at Bigfoot, and all the reason it was at the start, it was just habit. It was like every hour I got to have a gel, every hour. And then I'm in the end going, I don't even think I need these. So I had 4 gels over 200 miles. Now at Arizona Monster, I had 1 gel only because I ran out of water. This was on one of those hot days. And the aid station was still a bit away. And I'm like, I actually don't. And my pace had nothing. And I'm like, I think if I don't have something, I'm not going to make this. So I just jammed the gel in, gave me the bit of a kick, and it got me to where I needed to go. But for me, it's been a big game changer for not having to jam those bloody gels down the throat, especially. Imagine how many you got to have.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Glad I'm not there dunny for the next 2 days. I'll tell you.
It'd be back to the McDonald's bag, right?
Yeah. Disaster.
That's right.
Could be one of the mandatory gear next time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that's like I really want to thank you for that, Calvin. Like,
No worries.
yeah, it's been awesome. Like, and you done a big graph for us because it was totally unknown to us. We didn't know what the hell we're getting to. Like, we've never done a miler of any sort, and like you gave us, he sent me this graph, and I'm like, that just looks like mumble jumble. I don't understand. So we actually had to meet each other in Melbourne so he could physically explain it to Sian and I.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was so cool. Like, I think it was a win for me, a win for you. Friends of mine that I've told about it, like everyone I know pretty much they're on it now and just love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, big game changer.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I think that was I appreciate. I mean, you having a faith in the product and myself. Like, I think that's great. Adrian will be my guinea pig.
right there.
Yeah, not many runner will run the 200 miler like without running the 100 miler. Like, oh, this is great. Like,
right there, Kelvin. If that's not the advertisement to put NG1 up in lights, I don't know what is. So well done, Adrian.
Yeah, meet my guinea pig.
That's right.
Anyway, hey, Adrian, yeah, very important questions. I think you can expect that. Like, every episode we want to ask the guests, what was the cowbell moment? So for you, what is your cowbell moment?
Um, so cowbell moment. I've probably got two. I'd have two. So one would be Ultraman. In a hole, like for one coming out of that swim alive. Like I wasn't sure if I was coming out of that swim or not because my body tried shutting down in there. So that just that feeling of everything actually finished and ticked them all off, like the 10K or 12K swim, the 420 odd ride, the 84 run, and then just to put it all together and sit there and while we're eating dinner and just go, I've actually done it. Like actually got it through them all. And I had a bad lead up to it too. Like I had injuries leading up to it. So I could pretty much only swim. So that was a big one for me. And the other one would be my first time doing Bali Hope. So Bali Hope, you run across Bali from Lavina to Canggu. So from the north of the island to the south of the island, you do it overnight. And the first year I'd done it, I had Darcy, my two sons. I had Darcy and Noah with me, and they crewed me along the way. And I don't know, and that was early days of ultras for me too. I think that was your first longest run, yeah.
Yep.
And every bit of sucked. Like every inch of my body was broken, fully broken. And I actually don't know. Like I know I say about having a strong mind and all the rest of it, but I don't know. I don't know if I would have got through, like if it wasn't for them along the way. They were on scooters, motorbikes, and Darcy he had the beats going. He had some tunes going. So because it's at night, he'd play music that he knew that'll get me going, and you'd be down, and all of a sudden you'd find yourself going, like, oh, I'm back up, I'm alive, and then Noah would come past and he'd have lollies because I love lollies. I've got a sweet tooth. He'd pull out these lollies and he's like, think of the kids because you raise money for the schools, the children's schools there. Just think of the kids that you're doing it for. And I'd have a bit of a cry, and all of a sudden you've got all this power to go through it. So to go through that finish line, do you want to get a photo? I'll just show you quickly of the photo of that finish line. So when I went through the finish line, I had Noah and Darcy there, and I was just the feeling I had coming across this finish line. I get goosebumps now. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I can just make it out. Yeah.
A little closer.
So
yes.
for the visual aid, it's an incredibly moving embrace between Adrian and his sons.
Incredible, like it's just next level. And as a parent, we mentor our kids, whether you like to think you do or don't, or some people think they're bad parents and whatever the reason, whatever it is, your kids will follow. Doesn't mean all the time or in everything that you do, but you're a mentor for the rest of your life. And it's the monkey see, monkey do scenario. Like I used to party every weekend, and I was never a pub drinker or anything like that. I was always at home. But the now gym, it was like a boys' room. So we used to sit in there and just get pissed and play music, laugh, thinking it was fun. And it was like we had fun, but was it good? It was far from good. Far from good. And with that change came, like, now Noah, my third eldest boy, watch this space. This kid is going to be the next beast. So he's being trained by Sean Bell, which he's got the world record from running around Australia. Sean and I are pretty good mates. And when we were in Bali together just recently, he's raving about him. He's like, Noah's got some pretty big things. He's doing the Surf Coast Century, the 100. He's got so much focus and drive in him. It's going to be pretty cool to watch. And and it just spreads through. Like we've had races where we've had Sean's had Cody, her son, and
Yeah.
Georgia at one, which was the rail trail here.
Oh, yeah.
Taya, Sean's eldest daughter, she's in the Navy now, but I was chatting to her one time here, and the kids they suffer a bit of mental health and stuff like that. And I said, I think something that might be good for you is to come on an ultra run, because you get to unpack a lot of stuff when you're out on these runs. Like it's just you and those trails. Again, getting back to not being able to fake. So she's done the GC50 twice now in Coolangatta. So yeah, it's leading by example, and your kids and friends, and that's what's come along on my journey. Like I'm proud, like I'm super proud and fortunate to people to sort of tack on and be a part of this. Clint, Clint Calvin, you get stuff from you now.
Yep.
Clint, he just done 100K trail run. Just to like, we were talking to each other while he was out on the trail, and oh man, like I was nearly in tears for him, just feeling that thrill and where he was. Like he was overweight, drinking. He was me not so long ago, and now he's shredded like 15 kilos, and he just lives for this stuff now. And that's it's just I don't know, it's just a big good thing for people to be able to get along and join in on.
Well, as you say, Adrian, I mean, it is community, and it sounds exactly what you've just summed it up there. It's the people that you can surround yourself in. It's being the mentor. It's being the beast. I reckon that might be the headline for this
Yeah.
podcast. It's the mountain lion in you. I can see that. Maybe that's your new trail name is the mountain lion. But you are a beast, Sian. Thank you for being part of this incredible chat. I think we could hear some tales from both of you for a long time, because you got some stories to tell, and I think there's going to be a few more coming up. But thank you for being part of an extraordinary Cowbell podcast tonight. Kelvin, well done for bringing this man along, and well done for supplying him with the NG1 and getting him to those finish lines. I'm quickly going to wrap up, because I think it's important to mention that in 2 weeks' time, folks, Kelvin and I are actually heading to the Ultra Trail Jarvis Bay up there on the south coast of New South Wales. NG1 will be there. The Cowbell will be there. I'll be there in the MC capacity. But get along on the Friday evening if you are coming to that event, because we are having our first ever live Cowbell podcast, where we're having a athlete podcast there on the Friday night. So, Kelvin, I look forward to recording a live podcast with you in 2 weeks' time. Adrian, Sian, and the family down there, thank you so much for being part of the Cowbell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
guys.
Adrian. Thank you, Sian.
Yeah.